when nothing adds up and a gut feeling's all you have. Forget about your five senses. What you really need is the sixth sense.
She knew she was gonna die, and that it was gonna be really, really soon.
If anything happens to me, he would be my first suspect.
Tonight, two wives with premonitions of death.
You've got a woman who had a revelation from God that she was going to die and prepared for her death.
Two husbands charged with murder.
Made a mistake.
You've made a bunch of mistakes.
I made a bunch of mistakes.
The wife that he had just married about 3 weeks before was going to die. Oh, she wasn't ill, but she was going to die.
One case burns with the fevered visions of a true believer, prophesizing her own last days.
I just feel time running out. And no, wait, I'm not ready to go yet.
The other case buried in frozen fields.
Mark was standing 5 feet from her casket, laughing and joking.
And even colder hearts.
Ethylene glycol. Pretty rough stuff.
It's a horrible way to die.
He starts talking about websites.
Yes, he did. HowToKillYourWife.com per se.
Though both tales are born in love, they die amid suspicions and deceit. But beware of the truth. It's more mysterious than you think.
You can't label him as a killer and not have evidence.
The final script will be written by the dead women themselves. Is it a story of fiction, or did they possess a sixth sense for murder?
But I didn't harm my wife.
Please all rise. This is Timpanogos Park near Provo, Utah. It's a spectacularly beautiful place. A place where someone who believes that they can speak directly to God might want to come and have a conversation. Faylene Grant believed that she could speak to God. She had visions. She heard angels. She also predicted her own death. Or was it murder? Either way, what happened here was very important, and we're going to tell you why in just a few moments. But until then, we want you to set aside all the assumptions about right and wrong, guilt or innocence, and follow a murder case from Gilbert, Arizona to the Celestial Kingdom.
She said, I'm going to take a bath. And I could see that she's walking toward the bathtub as I lay down. And I wake up. And I know something's up. There was no noise, nothing. And I yelled for her. I ran in the bathroom and she was under the water. I got her out. I took her back to the bed. And I know CPR. It wasn't working.
On the morning of September 27, 2001, Douglas Grant says he woke to find his wife, Faylene, drowning in their bathtub. This bathtub. He called a physician's assistant he knew, Chad White.
I called Chad. You gotta come. She took the prescriptions. I found her in the tub. You gotta come. I'm scared.
Yes, I just got a script call from a friend of mine. He said that his wife is unconscious, and I told him to call 911. He said, I'm afraid to. I don't know why he said that.
Several hours later, after being rushed to a nearby hospital, Faylene's heart stopped, and she was pronounced dead. Local police in Gilbert, Arizona initially viewed her death as accidental, though the medical examiner officially labeled it undetermined. And undetermined it remained until...
All rise.
The case of the state of Arizona versus Douglas Grant reads like a Hollywood script, complete with a prosecutor with a penchant for the jugular.
You knew that if she died, there would be a chance for you and the man that you loved, right?
Mr. Martinez, that is...
Yes or no?
No.
And a defense attorney with his own flair for the dramatic.
What you decide will live beyond this courtroom.
Behind them is a cast of family, friends, and witnesses who alternately portray the defendant as an innocent victim of circumstance or the devil in a Brooks Brothers suit. Either way, the entire trial is being played out on the biggest stage of all, heaven and hell, eternal salvation or damnation. Faylene was a devout Mormon who believed in revelations.
You've got a woman who methodically saw God, had a revelation from God that she was going to die, and prepared for her death.
Those preparations included asking her husband to plan on marrying another woman. This woman, Hillary DeWitt.
Describe for me what you think Faylene saw as the celestial kingdom and your relationship in it.
I think she saw us all as a family. I think she did. I think she saw us as, you know, an eternal family.
And now the final scene will be written by the jury.
We, the jury, do find the...
But how did things ever get to this point? For that, we have to go back to the beginning.
You and Faylene had spectacular days.
It was phenomenal. She loved life, and so we had a great marriage. Had 2 beautiful little boys, and traveled the world. It was great.
There's little mystery behind what drew Doug Grant and Faylene Eves together. Both had previously been married. Both had backgrounds in nutrition and fitness. And both were Mormons, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Faylene was extremely devout, believing wholeheartedly in the Mormon doctrine of personal revelation, that a faithful member can receive guidance directly from God. Faylene's younger sister, Jody Stratton.
She was Christ-like, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good thing to be religious. It's a good thing to love Heavenly Father and to love Christ and to want to be like them. And that's what she was.
Doug's calling was rather different. By the mid-90s, he had built a booming business with nutritional supplements and health consulting. He even did work with NBA teams like the Phoenix Suns.
This little kid in a small town, now working with a professional athlete.
You were a hotshot.
I was a hotshot.
There was money, and lots of it. But there was also infidelity, a grave sin for any Mormon.
Made a mistake.
You've made a bunch of mistakes.
I made a bunch of mistakes.
Doug's repeated cheating deeply hurt Faylene, and they divorced in 2000. Faylene's kids from her first marriage, Jenna and Austin Stradling, remember the sting of their mom's breakup with Doug.
I remember I would be in my bedroom at night crying myself to sleep because I was sad they got a divorce.
Eventually, the couple moved on, but remained in close touch for their kids. Doug, meanwhile, had begun to fall for another woman. Hillary DeWitt was 19 when Doug hired her to work at his company.
I didn't think I was going to ever get married again. And then thinking, oh my gosh, I'm falling in love with Hillary.
And Hillary, you...
Oh, definitely in love with Doug.
I was pretty dang close, I think, within a month or two, probably of asking her to marry me. You know, she felt it, I felt it, we were going there. And then, Texas.
In July 2001, Doug took a fateful business trip to Dallas with his ex-wife, Faylene, in order to settle a company lawsuit. During it, they shared stories about their kids and the supreme importance of family. At the end, there was talk of reconciliation.
That must have come as a blow to you.
I felt like, you know, Doug told me he had to work out his feelings, but I still felt like, you know, Doug and I would be together.
As for Faylene, she did what she often did when faced with a big decision. She went to a Mormon temple to ask God what she should do.
He's like, I'm going to go to San Diego, pray about this one last time, but you know what? It'll take an angel from God to come down and tell me to get back with you.
Well, guess what?
I get a phone call, bright and early, and on the other end of the phone's Faylene. I was told in the San Diego temple from God to remarry you.
Quite a revelation for Hillary, too. She had just spent the night with Doug.
It was a rough morning.
He's going off to be with Faylene again.
Yep. And he came out of the bathroom, and I was standing there, and I said, it's over, isn't it? And he said, it's over.
No, this mystery is just getting started.
Faylene Grant, the wife that he had just married about 3 weeks before, was going to die. Oh, she wasn't ill, but she was going to die.